Thank you, that's really nice. So we know that we should have a tripod and a safe way of carrying our equipment around when we are out in the open, in the outdoors, a camera bag which accommodates all our lenses and our cameras and batteries and cards. But there is another sort of a preparedness or a readiness that we need when we are out in the open, which is being able to understand light. As we have been talking about from the very beginning of this MOOC, that photography is writing with light. Again and again it has been emphasized that we are writing with light. So Gopinath and Sanjay, tell us that how do you make use of the available light in any given situation when you do not know what kind of situation may come up and which animal you may spot. You are ready, but you are not ready, you cannot predict what may come next. In such conditions, when you cannot control the light that exists, how do you negotiate and how do you use the available light to the best to make your photographs?
In wildlife photography, a lot of things are not in our control. So what makes a good photograph possible is planning your shot. So light is not in your control, but you can plan yourself well. So given the time of the day it is, you will see the light, whichever light that is available. So you position yourself in such a way, anticipating an animal would come that side. So a lot of it is left to serendipity, I would say, or chance. So plan your shot, position yourself in such a way the light will fall on the animal. Despite all this planning, things can go wrong. I have set up a hide, waiting for a particular bird or an animal. Then the bird I was waiting to photograph for so many months would come and sit right behind me. So you'll have to be completely prepared for that. But planning will help you. Planning will help you to get the shot. So it is working with the limits, I would say. So there are a lot of limitations in this case. It is not your studio. You are one of the players in this whole arena that nothing is in control of yours, in your control. So be prepared, be at the moment, think on your feet and then modify whatever is needed and then take your shot. This may sound it could be really frustrating in the beginning because you would have waited for that particular shot or you would have planned for that shot for many days, but then the moment will come and the species would have gone and sat somewhere else. But this is very, very, very normal in wildlife photography. So that's where patience matters a lot. But if you plan, you will learn to reduce these kind of occurrences. So that's one thing. So the second thing is whatever light is available, you could always make the best out of it. So here I would say bracketing would be a good I would say a habit to have. So you can take one shot, but then quickly, in most cameras you could put a certain level within which you could bracket. What do you mean by bracketing? I suppose you understand. So you take one shot at the normal exposure, one underexposure and one overexposure. So there are settings in most of the cameras these days that would help you to have a range of bracketing, say at given certain increments. So try that. First of all, study the light, understand the light, shoot. There are a lot of people who would say you should always shoot when the light falls on the subject. Not necessarily. If you shoot against the light, you will get a silhouette. That silhouette could look nice. So it is all up to you. It is entirely up to your own ideas and your own creativity. So there are these guides. These guides will help you, but the guides are not hard and fast rules. Apply your mind, apply your heart more than anything else. Take your photographs. If it's not bad, thanks to the technology today, you have digital cameras. You don't have to waste on, or you're not limited by the number of exposures. Take it repeatedly, work on it. As you progress, you yourself will see you are taking less number of shots, but more shots that you could keep.
Correct. And when you talk about planning the shots, I think it's also right of any photographer to take into account all these things that can go wrong. And in my case, I have always planned shots because when it comes to lighting, you can either get backlit or well lit images. And I have always planned my shots to go, if it's something that's going to be backlit, how do I want to compose the shot? If it's something that's going to be well lit, how I want to compose the shot. And then I would position myself to the best of my abilities, because I cannot control where the animal will sit, nor how the light will play out. I mean, exactly, rather than both of them playing out with each other. So I cannot control that, and I would sit myself down wherever that's most, unobtrusive and out of the way, and just play my hand with my camera settings and just figure out what I can do best with it. And if, as you say, that things aren't still looking good, there's obviously post-processing that you can look at. Many people shun that, because they think, oh, it's Photoshop. That's a saying these days, that whenever you see an image that may be too good to be true, you say it's Photoshop. And that automatically often puts a stamp on it that it's unreal, it's fake. Someone has done it up, someone has made it artificially. But that's not always the case. Photoshop is a tool which, if you use it ethically, which if you use it correctly, you can just enhance and correct the lighting meters enough to get the shot and the result that you had seen on field. Because often you capture something that looks amazing on field, but the camera cannot exactly produce those results. So you use Photoshop to tweak those lightings and the exposure and the contrast a bit here and there to get that result that you had witnessed on the field. Nothing artificial. So yeah, to a control of the post-processing, your camera and your own situation is a great, like a triangle to keep in mind always. And then there's one little hack, I think, what I have found out lately is that I have always found photography on cloudy days to be very, very productive. Most people would obviously be scared, firstly, of the rain and stay indoors, and secondly, they would think that, oh, it's cloudy, so there's not good lighting on the subject. But in contrast, there's amazing lighting all around you. Rather than just the subject being lit up from one side, there's lighting anywhere you look. There's good lighting anywhere you look, as the clouds literally just act like a diffuser for the sun. So the light is diffused and spread all around you. You don't have issues about getting harsh colors, harsh anything. So cloudy and overcast day is, I say, a photographer's best friend. Like if you're looking generically. If you have some photograph in mind of the sunset or sunrise, then yeah, that's always there. But a cloudy day is a very good friend for any photographer.
Yeah, a bad weather is always a good weather for a photographer. So it all depends on the way we see it. Another thing, as Sanjay pointed out, Photoshop, and there are so many other image editing softwares that are excellent tools. Now, one could use a tool or abuse a tool. So that is up to the person. Especially when, as a professional photographer, you will see yourself shooting more on RAW format. So RAW format is a direct readout from your sensor. It is never going to be the same as what you experienced in the field. So this is where the tools are very important. They will help you to achieve the color and the tone and the feeling that you felt in the field while taking that photographs. So use these tools for that end. So one could overuse it and make it completely fake, as he said, but you could use these tools to kind of better communicate your photographs with your viewers. So it is all in prudent use of the tool. So everything is a tool here.